Welcome back to our API call tutorial series in Flutter. In the first part, we explored how to fetch and display data directly from an API. If you haven't watched that, be sure to check it out. In this second part, we are taking things up a notch by introducing model. We will learn how to structure API response into a clean and reusable format using that class. This approach will make your code more organized, readable, and scalable for larger projects. So grab a cup of coffee and let's dive right into adding models into our API call workflow. So the first thing I'm going to be doing now is that I'm going to come here inside my lib folder, and then I'm going to create a file and I'm going to name it model.dat. And inside the model.dat, let's go back to our JSON file. And here we can see that we have user ID, title, and body. So let's go back to our VS Code, and then I'm going to name this class, and I'm going to call it my model. And then we're going to, the first one is the ID, which is of type integer. So I'm simply going to come here and say final int, and then I'm having ID here for as the first one. The next one also is of type int, which is the user ID. Then I have string, which is the title. And then I have another string, which is the body. And then let's create a constructor for our class. So we can have const, and then I have my model. Then we can just semicolon here, and then can come here and add all the parameters required. So let's make it a named parameter so that we can easily access it. Let's add required. Then after saving this, we're going to go back into our main.dat, and now here we have our JSON file, which has been converted from JSON string to a dat object, which is stored inside our JSON variable here. So what we're going to be doing now is that we're going to come here, and then we're going to create a variable, and then we're going to call it my data. And what we're going to do now is that we're going to be converting this dat object in this JSON file to fit into our class model that we have created here. So to do that, we're simply going to say json.map. So we're going to use the map method, which is going to take, and then we're going to have this, and then we're going to have a return keyword, and then we're going to return this model which we have created here. So we're going to have my model return. So what this simply means that this E is your JSON here, because we have already stored our object, our list of objects that we've got from our JSON file here. We have stored it inside this variable JSON. So what we are doing right now is that we are going through that list of objects and we are converting it into a list of an object, my model. We're going to say E, and then this is going to be the ID, and also can say E, this is the user ID, and then for the title you can have E, this, and then title, and the body we can say E, and we have body here. Yeah, so let's add semicolon here, and let's add a semicolon here. So what have I done now? We've gone through this list, we've iterated through this list, and we have converted it from this into our new class object that we've created here. So the title, the ID is assigned to this, the user ID is assigned to this, the title is assigned to this, and the body is assigned to this. So now let's go back to our main.dat, and now how do we make use of this? We need to add this here. So you can see this is as a list of dynamic The list of objects we are getting from our response.body, we are using typecast and we are saying that is a list of type dynamic, because here if you hover on this data here, you can see there is a list of type dynamic. But now that we are converted this from a list of dynamic to a list of my model, we can come here and then we can say dot to list, and then we are saving the list of data that we are getting here. We are changing this from this to this, and then we need to change this from list of dynamic to list of my model. And then yeah, so if you go inside our scaffold now, you can see that we've started getting error. Why are we getting this error? Because we can no longer have access to all this value like this again. So I'm just going to remove this and I'm going to press dot. So if I say dot now, you can see I have dot body, dot title, dot ID, dot user ID. So I'm going to make use of ID. Then it's an integer. We need to convert it to a string. And then come down here also. You can say data dots, and this is the title. And then we can come here also. We can say dot the body. And let's save this now and change this to circular progress indicator. So I can have circular progress indicator, and then let's restart our app. And you can see initially we have this circular progress indicator loading. When I click on this my button now to call the API, you can see we are having the same result we had the other time. This is the title, this is the body, and this is the ID. By using models, you've learned how to keep your Flutter project clean and scalable, especially when working with complex APIs. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next part of this series. Keep coding, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.